Thank you, Nidhi, for the introduction and this wonderful gathering as well. It takes a lot of effort to bring together so many people and such a fantastic, power-packed conference. So this 1 hour, we will be listening to expert speakers on the topic of plastic circularity and innovation, PET perspective of brand owners. PET, or commonly known as polyester, is a boon to all packaging technologists as it replaces glass. A lot of properties of PET, such as it is practically impermeable, lightweight, low cost, less energy to manufacturing, transparent just like glass. I think the speaker before me, he said transparent just like glass. 95% of what is produced is recycled. I think only drawback with PET is it is unbreakable. So packaging gives the option to the consumer to litter. That's what I feel. Packaging is giving an option to the consumer to litter. And so to talk on that, I would request Mr. Venkata, Director, Integrated Supply Chain and Operation, Bisleri, leader with proven success, 2.5 decades of leading end-to-end supply chain management across businesses, not only in India, but also global markets, also developing a lot of brands to talk about sustainability and recyclability, right? Thank you.
I think thanks Nidhi for inviting us to present our efforts towards plastic circularity and also the challenges the India as a country we face. I represent a company which is the first hydration choice for every Indian over 5 decades. I am Venkata Sridhar representing Bisleri India, and let me run you through the efforts that we take. Before we go on that, I think a lot of eminent speakers have spoken about what's PET and how the PET is going to change and what's the call-in for all of us here. So the first slide. Oh, thank you. I think PET we know very clearly. I think if PET is not available or the plastic is not available, we will be not having the kind of storage capacity to store our food. 5 grams of PET, 3 grams of PET will enhance the food storage by almost 10 days. So that's the power of PET. So PET is not, or the plastic should not be seen as a unit which is just only for packaging, but it has a larger role in the entire food value chain. I think that's where the key takeaway. And when we compare ourselves across the global footprint, India still consumes 11% of the overall plastic, and our per capita consumption is one of the best in class. At the same time, we recycle almost 90% of it. I think most of the speakers have spoken about what is the need for India as a country. I think with the Geneva, the sign-off that we have for the Mother Earth, the recycling of PET is the most critical thing. So how we are going to do about is where we are going to be talking here. So though 90% of the PET is getting recycled, still there is a 10% which is not coming into the entire circular value chain.
India. I'm sure many of you will agree because we are in the habit of recycling right from our childhood. May it be collecting the newspaper and handing it over to the Raddiwalas, or collecting all these scrap bottles and giving it to the Raddiwala. So all that we have been doing for a long time. Only thing is now we are trying to follow the Western culture and we are probably lagging behind. Another gold medal, if there was, which will go to India, is for innovation. Only thing is we may have to change the name from Innovation Award to Jugaad Award. So with that, I would like to call Mr. Arvind Hangal, who is Director Marketing, Allied Blenders and Distilleries, with more than 2 decades of marketing leadership, launching new brands, re-architecting legacy brands, and scaling innovation across the consumer good and consumer healthcare industry. I had the opportunity to preview the presentation, and I'm sure ये आप लोग का मूड बना देगा. Thank you.
Right. Is my mic working? Thank you so much. Um, and if you can please help me with my slides. Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you first to Reliance and to Elite Plus for having me here as part of the session. I must confess, I am the odd man out. Since morning, I've been here. There's a lot of stuff. As a marketing person, I do not understand. And there's a lot of stuff which I've not quite understood. And considering that all of you are subject matter experts, clearly does look like I'm the odd man out. But there are two things which I must mention. In the morning, since I was here fairly early, and some of the delegates weren't here, the lady who was comparing or was emceeing, she did blame that there was a lot of fun that was had last night, apparently and due to which a lot of you turned up late. So I'm proud to take, as the industry, alcohol industry, I'm proud to take the blame for that. But more importantly, the second thing is what I'm going to do today is more storytelling. It's going to be more in terms of use cases, maybe a couple of use cases in terms of how the alcohol industry and more particularly the company that I work for, Allied Blenders and Distillers, has gone through a transformative journey in the use of PET for the brands that we have. This might look a bit like a company boilerplate, but let me just quickly give you a few points, and the points that are of note here, of mention here, are the fact that we have got 4 millionaire brands, which is brands that sell more than 1 million cases of 9 liters each. And you can read the brands there, topmost amongst which is Officer's Choice. And I'll talk a bit about Officer's Choice as we move along during the course of my presentation. But there is also Officer's Choice Blue, there is also Sterling Reserve, and there is the new kid on the block, Iconic White. Again, I'll talk about which as we go along. We have a portfolio of around